Welcome back to the Hippocampus Clubhouse, a fun and inclusive SEL-based storytelling podcast for kids. Erin here, and today at the Clubhouse, we're along for the ride on a dala, which is the common word for a van or bus in Tanzania, a country in East Africa. We'll meet Musa and his mother Dada, who are headed to the beach of the Indian Ocean in Zanzibar. But with each stop they make, more and more passengers hop aboard. And with all of their fun and surprising offerings, poor Musa wonders how there could ever be room for any more. But with some wiggles and a whole lot of giggles, there might be room for everyone. Here to introduce today's story is our Storytime Voices guest, my son, Bryant.
My name is Bryant and I'm 5 years old, and my book is Room for Everyone.
Thank you, Bryant, for that wonderful introduction. Now, let's get comfy cozy and ready to open our hearts and minds with Room for Everyone. Written by Naaz. Room for Everyone. The dala rumbled and roared, and Musa and Dada were off to the shore to feast on fish at the Friday bazaar by the blue crystal waters of Zanzibar. Soon after zooming past Zulika Street, they saw one old man and his bike with no seat. So the driver honked and pulled to the side and asked, "Dear brother, do you need a ride? It's hotter than peppers out there in the sun. Come in, there's room for everyone." "But Dada," said Musa, "I don't think there is enough room for that man and that cycle of his." "Oh, don't worry, Musa. There's space galore. If you move just a bit, we can make room for more." So in came the man with his sweaty old feet and his bike with no bell, no light, and no seat. And after some wiggles and giggles and fun, they made enough room for everyone. Next, they passed the bagala boats, and a herder appeared with 2 little goats. So the dala pulled to the side, and the driver yelled, "Do you need a ride? It's hotter than peppers out there in the sun. Come in, there's room for everyone." "But Dada," asked Musa, "can there really be enough room for a cycle, 2 goats, and me?" "Of course there is. If we squeeze a bit, we'll make enough room for us all to fit." And though the seating arrangement was tight, Musa could see that Dada was right. After a shuffle, a squirm, and a squeeze, they found a small space between Dada's knees. Onward they went with a honk and a toot, till vendors appeared with 3 baskets of fruit. So they pulled to the side, and as you can guess, Musa cried out and began to protest. "Mangoes and melons and parachichi? We don't have the space. Please listen to me." But up came the baskets of tropical fruits, and down dripped the juices on ankles and boots. And everyone wiggled and giggled galore, till somehow they carved out a space on the floor. Onward they puttered past palms and sails, till a farmer appeared with 4 shiny pails, filled with milk all the way to the top. So of course the dala came to a stop. "We can't, we mustn't. I do not see where he could possibly sit," Musa cried in despair. But the passengers wiggled, and somewhere, somehow, they made space for the farmer and the milk from his cow. The dala drove past some more farms, till they saw 5 mamas with fish in their arms. So the conda stuck his head outside, yelling, "Sisters, hello! Do you need a ride?" "No!" cried Musa. "This rickety bench has no room for those fish and their ickety stench." But the passengers wiggled and squished on the floor and made enough room for the ride to the shore. 6 minutes later, a farmer was walking with 6 stinky chickens that wouldn't stop squawking. And right there beside them were several fellas carrying 7 Katinge umbrellas. "Hop in," someone shouted. "Get out of the sun. There's plenty of room for everyone." But Musa resisted. "These chickens are fat, and 7 umbrellas? There's no room for that." But Dada insisted, "Just open the door." So everyone wiggled and giggled galore, and eventually found enough room for more. Soon they were making a turn down the lane, where a vendor was carrying 8 sugar canes and 9 tender coconuts fresh off the tree. What yummy, refreshing, sweet drinks these could be! The passengers shouted, "Do you need a ride?" And as you can guess, Musa worried and cried. "This is outrageous, and we can't let them in. We're already smushed like sardines in a tin." Though it was clearly a very tight fit, they wouldn't give up. No, they just wouldn't quit. So in came the coconuts, tender and sweet, and the sugar canes tangled between people's feet, tickling everyone's toes as they wiggled, then till even Musa had started to giggle. And a few minutes later they stopped for fuel, which happened to be near a diving school, where 10 divers were ready to go, with suits and gear and tanks in tow, trying to get in on all the commotion so that they could explore the Indian Ocean. But was there room for all of their stuff? Did the dala have room enough? Though the dala was packed from top to bottom and front to back, Musa yelled out, "Come join the fun! We'll make enough room for everyone." So the swimmers with snorkels and tubes and fins wiggled and giggled and wriggled right in. The tires were reeling and spinning and burning, the passengers sweating and twisting and turning, elbow to shoulder, beak to nose, feathers to feet and udders to toes. What a sight to see, and what a comical crew, stuck together like gobbledygoo. They clickety-clunked, and like junk in a trunk, so close to a breakdown, oh, kerplickety-plunk. When all of a sudden they heard a giant screech. Alhamdulillah, they'd arrived at the beach. Out came 10 swimmers with snorkels and fins, who ran to the ocean and dove right on in. Out came 9 coconuts, fresh and tender, and out came the whistling coconut vendor. Out came the 8 sticky sweet sugar canes with 7 umbrellas for sunshine and rains, with 6 stinky chickens and 5 piles of fish, 4 heavy pails full of milk so delish, 3 big old baskets of fruit for a treat, 2 little goats, and 1 bike with no seat. At last, they had finally reached the blue crystal waters of Nungwe Beach, where Musa and Dada and everyone could wriggle and giggle under the sun. The author has a note that I would like to share with you. Room for Everyone is inspired by my own fantastically fun dala ride from Stone Town to Nungwe Beach and Zanzibar. Zanzibar is a beautiful archipelago, which is a group of islands and part of the country of Tanzania. The largest island is called Unguja, which is also known as Zanzibar Island. Zanzibari music, arts, crafts, architecture, and cuisine reflect the various cultures and the people that have influenced it, including Bantu, Indian, Omani, Persian, and Portuguese. On the dala, you can hear Zanzibaris speaking Swahili, a Bantu-based language with some elements of Arabic. The island also has a large Muslim population. You can often hear the sound of the Islamic call to prayer while passing by the villages and see women carrying bright-colored scarves, just like some of the characters you will see in this book. I am truly grateful to who made me feel so welcome during my time in Tanzania. Asante sana! Thank you! And thank you, readers, for picking up this book. I hope it inspires you to make room for new and wonderful experiences and people who may be waiting around the bend. What a fun and giggly sing-song story! I especially liked how Dada never doubted that more could fit, and how even Musa came around to feeling the same, even when it came time for all of those stinky chickens to come aboard. Did you notice that in all of the fun we counted and used multiples that added up to 10? It's true! Think about it. 1 bike with no seat, 2 goats, 3 baskets of fruit, 4 pails of milk, 5 mamas with barrels of fish, 6 stinky chickens, 7 Katinze umbrellas, 8 sugar canes with 9 tender coconuts, and finally, 10 divers with their tanks all in tow. All together rode the dala with Musa and Dada fitting tightly in a row. What about Bryant? What did you think about this story?
I liked this book because it was so silly with all the people that wanted to come on the dala and all their silly things.
And what did you learn?
I learned that a bus is sometimes called a dala in a part of Africa, and that you can always make room for friends if you just try.
And why is that important to you?
It's important to me because I want to make sure people help each other all over the world. We need that right now.
Thank you, Bryant, for sharing that amazing outlook. And I hope you enjoyed Room for Everyone and maybe learn something new to share with those in your world. Grown-ups, if you're interested in purchasing this title, click the link in the show notes now. Want to be a guest on our podcast with your favorite story? Or, better yet, be one of our amazing Storytime readers and read a book yourself? Have your grown-up visit our website at hippocampusclubhouse.com and under podcast, click on Storytime Voices. This contactless experience is done via cell phone on your time in the comfort of your own home. And like our podcast, no screen time required. We thank you for your support and sharing our story time with friends. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, and if you're new to the Clubhouse, click subscribe, rate, and review. Until next time, be sure to tell your story with an open heart while listening to others with an open mind, just like Dada, Musa, and Bryant, and even the stinky chickens do.